Hey there, niche lovers. It is Jackie from Eco Endeavor, and today I want to talk to you about some of the perennial tubers that I am growing in my food forest. We're going to harvest Chinese artichoke, also called Crosne, 2 varieties of Sunchokes, also called Jerusalem artichokes, and then Apios Americana, also called Groundnut. And then we're also going to be harvesting some Oka, I think it's Oka, which is a tuber from South America. Some of these varieties are quite rare, so we're going to harvest these today and see, do they have a good yield in the Pacific Northwest here? Are they worth putting in your food forest? And do they actually taste good? Or are they just popular because permaculturalists are addicted to plants and want to source rare plants even if they don't taste good or grow good? I don't know. We'll find out today, so let's get to it. The first one I'm going to be looking at is actually Groundnut. So Groundnut, or Apios Americana, is the second year that I've been growing this one. Last year I did harvest it and pot it up just to see how big the tubers were growing, but technically you're supposed to not harvest it for the first 2 years to let it get a little more established. Now, because they are perennial tubers that spread, most people will want to pot them up in their first year or first couple years just to make sure they don't completely take over your garden space. If you have beautiful, rich soil and you have a lot of space, let them go. That's the whole point of growing perennials that spread, is that food security, that they will just go nuts. And then when you want to eat them, they're there and there's a big supply of them. So let's dig these guys up and see what we got. Hey, that's a pretty big one. So these groundnuts, I don't find the most appealing of tubers to want to eat because they kind of look like, I don't know, little poops on a string or something. People say they're like a necklace, but I don't know. These are obviously too small to harvest. I am not going to harvest these. These ones I will put back in. So that is actually not too bad. I'm going to take a couple of the bigger ones to harvest. 2 years harvest, not super productive. Would I recommend growing these? Yeah, the vines are pretty cool. They make these beautiful flowers that look almost like chocolate. Do they smell like chocolate? I don't know if I was just hungry in the garden that day, but for some reason I'm feeling like they smell and look like chocolate. Is it going to be a complete staple crop for me in my garden in the future? No, probably not. I'm going to harvest these ones because I want to know what these guys taste like. And I think I said I was going to eat them last year, and then I might have tried it raw, but I don't think I experimented with cooking. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be super tasty though, and then I'm going to be like, yes, grow them. But if you have space in your food garden, your forest garden, yes, grow them. The pollinators did really like the flowers. The flowers are beautiful. They might smell like chocolate, or I'm making that up. I don't really remember. This big bucket is Crosne. It is all dyed back. So I'm just gonna gently pull up some of the plant because ideally I just want to overwinter this all winter and just have a little bit to eat. Ooh, they look pretty small. So the Crosne is very disappointing. It is just small little tubers. These should be like the length of my finger, and they are not. So I don't know. I need to learn a little bit more about Crosne, but I'm thinking it just needs a little bit more time. I'm actually not that surprised that some of these are small and the harvests are a little disappointing, because you got to think of like perennial vegetables as a long-term investment, similar to like asparagus. Asparagus in its first year is not good. Asparagus in its second year is not good. It's like its third or fourth year when asparagus starts to really give you the harvest that you're wanting. So with these ones as well, I think we just need to be patient with them. The groundnut's already bigger this year than it was last year. The Crosne, if it's only in its first year, it might need a little bit while longer to get going. So I'm not going to write these off just yet, but know that they're not the best crops for you in your first year. Don't expect to plant these perennial tubers in your first year and be like, yes, I'm self-sufficient in food. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to be patient, because these little guys, like, look at them. They are tiny, but I did harvest a few because, again, I want to do the taste test. So we'll see. I like crunchy things, so I think that I'm going to like these because I think everything needs a crunch factor in it. Like a stir fry with no water chestnuts kind of sucks. Like you need that crunch, like, or something crunchy, like crunchy peppers in there or something. Like I like the crunch factor. Okay, I am a little nervous about our next one, which is Oka. It is a tuber from the Andes. It is supposed to be like a lemony kind of potato flavor, like new baby potatoes. So I'm really excited about these guys. Now I got some this spring that I planted, and I didn't eat them or anything. I planted them right away because I paid like ridiculous amount of money for like 4 small little tubers. It's in this pot over here, and then my neighbor gave me this huge pot. I know these are going to be better if you harvest them after the frost has completely killed them. We've had a few light frosts here, but nothing super severe. So these still need to die back. They're going to put all that energy into the tubers. Now, I've also read that these types of tubers are sweeter, not from a frost, but from sunlight. So after you harvest them, if you keep them in the sun for a few days to kind of cure a little bit, they're going to get like brighter in color and sweeter. Yep. There's some little guys. I think they're still going to get bigger. So let's not take too many, but just enough to give a little sample. You can see a little bit better of how they grow here. They do grow on the vine, so I think these guys want to spread and grow long. I don't know if a deep pot is actually best for them. Maybe they want more of a shallow field. Very disappointing harvest as well. There's a reason these maybe are not popular anymore, right? These are called the lost crop of the Incas, but did they just get smarter and move to more productive vegetables? Probably, but should you still grow them? Yes. Oh, this might be a good one, guys. This one might be a good one. That's not bad. I dug down all the way to the bottom in the one spot where I found the biggest tubers. There's nothing down here. It's all at the very top. All those tubers were sitting up right up at the top. So I think I might be growing this wrong, and I should be letting it spread in raised bed as a top ground cover. This is a ground cover. I do think that it will grow bigger if I perhaps just harvested a little bit too soon. So make sure you're subscribed, because I will harvest these again and make a reel about it or a video and just see if every month they get bigger and bigger in size. Next up, we've got some sunchokes. Now, sunchokes I do like to eat. The sunchokes for the white ones grow longer than the sunchokes of the red grow more like red potato, fatter. But yeah, I'm excited to try the difference because I actually have not had the white sunchokes yet. We're gonna do just a raw tasting of each of these tubers, as well as a sauteed version or a boiled version. We'll see what I end up coming up in the culinary kitchen. The first one is Crosne. Now, Crosne is otherwise called Chinese artichoke. Terrible name for it. Just call it Crosne. It's not an artichoke. It did not get that big. I think it needs a little more time to mature. To me, I love the crunch factor, and it is a little bit earthier, probably because I haven't cleaned it really that good. But if you're worried about dirt, you should probably wash it a little bit better. I think we don't eat enough microbes anymore, so you should probably eat some dirt. But anyways, good microbes, the good gut bacteria microbes. Yeah, so this one, a little bit like celery, very, very good crunch factor. Yeah, I would grow that. For the taste alone, they need to get bigger. This is not worth my time and energy. But again, perennials, you don't really have to put in time and energy. You plant them once and then they come back year after year. So yeah, you should probably still plant them. Next up, I've got this tiny little Aka. It is not completely died back yet, so I know these are going to get bigger. So this guy raw, which this has a lot of, definitely tastes that lemony zest that they're talking about with these guys. Yeah, it's good. That is good. I'm really excited to try those up sauteed. Okay, next up we've got some of the groundnuts. Now the groundnuts, again, just my least favorite because it looks gross. That's what it looks like inside. Definitely has a nutty texture to it. Super earthy tasting. Probably because I didn't wash off the dirt. Again, not my favorite. Maybe it's better cooked. I'm just gonna wipe this one on the pants, give it the old freshly harvested, washed pants test. And this is a white sunchoke. It's not bad. It's kind of given jicama vibes. Have you guys eaten jicama? I think it's gonna be better tasted, better cooked up. I haven't had white sunchoke yet. I've only had these my red sunchokes here. These guys I actually have never eaten raw. I do eat them cooked though. So we're gonna wipe the dirt off again. Much sweeter. These are way sweeter than the white ones. Good crunch. Really good crunch. Almost like a radish, but with no spice. Let's go cook these bad boys up. All right, first up for cooking is Aka, because I am just so excited to try these delicious little lemony potatoes. If they get bigger than my finger, yeah, even if they're not, I still think these are great. So I'm gonna saute up some of those with just some butter and salt, and then I'll boil those ones. The Crosne is like so small, it's not even really worth cooking up, but I do want to boil at least one, and I'm just going to throw this one in there. It might pick up a little bit of the flavor of the aka, but honestly, like, I'm not going to just fry one on its own. And yes, I know I have way too much butter in the pan. Hey, I've got just like a tiny little bit of this guy. That has a good lemony flavor, potato. I love these. Yeah, definitely 100% you should grow these. Hey, here's that tiny little Crosne. Let's just give it a little sample. It is actually nuttier now when it's been cooked. Before it was kind of just tasted like celery. Hold its crunch. Not too bad. We'll see how these pan out, because right now, if they're not going to give me big enough tubers, then they're not worth growing. Okay, next up is the white sunchoke. Now these guys, oddly enough, did experience some frost damage. Cutting into these ones, they are white. They have not turned brown, so these are obviously healthier ones. This one I'm not going to try. This one I might, just because it's not too bad, and it could be like I might cut down and find it better further down. Just like potatoes, sometimes there's just bad spots in them. So that is next in the frying pan. I was able to get quite a few out of those after cutting off the bad parts. So these guys are a little bland, even with the butter and salt. Like, they're just kind of like meh. I don't know. They definitely don't have the flavor that the aka does. I don't really know how to describe them other than like they are kind of flavorless. The red ones are in the pan, and if you remember from our raw taste test, these ones were sweeter than the white sunchokes. These guys I do find a little bit easier to clean, because sometimes these can get like when you let them get big, they get pretty big and like knobby. Like they are not as easy to clean. These guys, super easy to clean. I just cannot believe how cute these are. Like, I want so many of these. All the flavors. I want whites, I want pink, I want red, I want whatever other color they come in. I want these aka tubers, more of them. You should get them too, definitely. This is the red sunchokes. They're good. I've had these before. I like them when they're smaller, like the smaller tubers, than when they're over like too big. They do have a distinct taste that is not like a potato. This one is very much like a potato. These ones a little bit different, because they're not potatoes, they're sunchokes. So, I mean, that's why. All right, last, and I'm just going to go ahead and probably assume least, is the groundnut. So let's see what they're like with some butter and salt. Even with like scraping them with a spoon like I do with ginger, they are annoying to clean, these guys. Like what do you do with this one? Most of them kind of are this size, and they've got lots of little knobbies on them. Do you eat those knobbies? Am I supposed to cut and peel those off? Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking I don't want to eat that stuff, so. Okay, let's taste test these groundnuts. Nick. Not bad. Definitely nutty flavor. All right, let's do our first little taste test of the American Groundnut Apios Americana Hopniss. I like the name Hopniss better than Groundnut, actually. No, I don't like it. I actually liked it better fried in butter and a little bit crispier, because then it kind of tasted like kind of like a crispy nut. It kind of has like the consistency of maybe I don't know, like it's meatier, almost like a turnip maybe. There's definitely better tubers out there. Hey, these kind of left like a weird taste in my mouth as well. Like, is my tongue getting swollen? Do people have allergies to this stuff? Like, I don't know. I wonder if you can have allergies to Hopniss. After a little bit of scare that I was having an allergic reaction to that and dying, we are back cooking some of the aka is in the pan right now, and that tiny little Crosne that I have. So the thing with this Hopniss, I looked into it, and people do have allergies to this stuff. Usually it's like gut issue allergies, like vomiting, diarrhea, that kind of stuff. Me, I felt like my tongue started to get itchy, and I don't know, maybe it's my anxiety a little bit that like caused me to then feel like it was getting a little bit swollen. But I do feel something in my mouth from these. What I've read is that the allergies could be to a latex because it does have that kind of milky substance latex to it. It could be if you were allergic to nuts. So yeah, be careful with these guys. I don't really like the taste of these anyways, so I'm not gonna eat any more of these, especially while I'm on my own right now. Definitely don't eat them raw like I did. That was a big mistake. I should not have tried that. It was a tiny little piece, so I think I'll be okay. But we'll see. I will let you know in the comments if I end up vomiting or having other issues tonight. But for now, the tongue seems to be fine. It is not swollen. I am talking just fine. So yeah, I'm gonna pull out the Crosne right now. This is the teeny tiny little Crosne Chinese artichoke that I had so much hope for, and I really do hope that these get bigger, but let's try it boiled. Yeah, not bad. Kind of like a parsnip actually. I think I like it raw, crunchy. I didn't put any butter on these because I want to just see what they taste like without butter. No, I don't know. These are the best. Hands down, lemon potatoes. Why would you not want them? Last on the list is the Sunchokes. I'm going to cook them both together. This one, again, is sweeter. This one, a little more tasteless. But we're going to boil them all up and eat them with some salt and some butter. All right, here's the last of it. This is the white and the red Sunchoke cooked up together with some butter, pepper, and salt. And I've tried them both. Again, I like the red better than the white. That's just personal preference. Good crop, good staple crop. I will continue to grow these and harvest as needed. But otherwise, just let them be sunflowers because they look gorgeous in the garden. All right, so in conclusion, out of all of those tubers, the one that I would recommend the most for yield, ease to grow, beautiful pollinator flowers that are attractive in the garden would be Sunchokes, just because you do get the biggest bang for your buck out of them. As far as taste wise, I would say the Aka is definitely the best. That would be my second recommendation, is to get the hands on that Aka, mainly because it gives you a lemony new potato taste in November. Like that is when I am harvesting it right now. It's like the end of November, and these tubers are actually not like this one here, right? It's not even quite ready yet to be harvested. So they'll be going into December here in the Pacific Northwest where I am, and maybe even later where you are, depending on when your frost dates are. So those guys, I can't get any other new potatoes at this time with that lemony, like zesty flavor. Like those are really tasty. So I would grow those. If they were actually harvested around the same time as potatoes, I would say potatoes are just better because they are bigger, they give you a bigger yield. And I mean, who doesn't love potatoes, right? But because these are ready in November and nothing else in my garden is giving me a new potato taste, I would say those are my second choice. The third would be Crosne. I'm not quite ready to give up on Crosne yet. I am a little really disappointed because it should have given me at least finger length size of those. And I would only really recommend eating those raw to have like a nice crunch. I'm not going to give it any more space in my garden. It can grow in a pot, and if it produces for me, great. If not, I can forget about it. Whereas the Aka, I will be spreading it into a bigger lengthwise raised bed to let it really grow and spread and grow the way it needs to be growing. Then there's the groundnut. I think you guys know already how I feel about the groundnut. I will not be planting that again. I mean, I'm going to leave it because it's growing right here, and the flowers are nice. Like they're not the prettiest because they are quite light. Like they're like a brownie kind of pink color. But the hummingbirds do like them, so whatever, I'll keep them. But if you are thinking about getting groundnut, I would say it's not really worth it unless you are wanting to add a vine later to your food forest and you have hummingbirds that you don't have a native flower for them. Like they really like the honeysuckle here, so I'd rather plant honeysuckle than the groundnut just because I don't like the taste of the groundnut. So that's basically it for today's video. Hopefully that has given you some insight into some tubers that you might want to invest into your food forest or your forest garden situation. Again, that Aka was going to be worth sourcing out those tubers. They are quite expensive, but I mean, once you have them, you're going to have them forever. So I think it is worth the investment for sure. And who doesn't love new baby potatoes in November? I mean, come on. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.